morning. Welcome to another wonderful session of tutorials. Um, my name is Mr. Beniza, and I will be taking you through your CR and FR class. Um, what I've done is this. Everything that you need to look at under CR or FR, if you are to write any ICANN exams, I've broken it down into 4 modules. And that's what we'll be looking at. Please follow me, and then you will enjoy the best of these videos as it were. Please subscribe, click on those notification buttons, and help us to help you. Like I said, we're looking at 4 modules, and this very regulatory and conceptual framework forms the module 1 I will look at, and the subsequent modules will also follow. So the module 1 talks about the regulatory and the conceptual framework, where I've seen students over time, neglecting this aspect of CR or FR. They don't read it, rather they just focus on the group account, the presentation on preparation and presentation of financials, and that's the published account, as well as the cash flow ratio analysis. They neglect this particular area of CR and FR. And with this, in this place, I can use to set questions very well. And then the question you see them set, sometimes you see it's 10, 15 marks. And then if you don't know it, you don't know it. But if you have known everything that we're supposed to know under this place, if you set a question of 15 marks, it's certain that at least the 15 mark is already in your pocket. That's why you need to know whatever it is that you are doing. So under this regulatory and conceptual framework, we shall be looking at the definition of regulatory framework. Then we shall be looking at the sources of regulation. We shall be looking at the importance of setting up regulations in this particular video. Now, the truth is this: these two, the sources of regulation and importance of regulation, they can always ask you in your exams. And so let's go ahead as we look at what we're going to consider under this very particular topic. For instance, I told us earlier, the module 1 will cover the regulatory and the conceptual framework. So let me quickly break it down before we move ahead. The regulatory framework is an aspect. The conceptual framework is also an aspect. So what we are looking at in this video is the regulatory framework. Then the next video, we look at the conceptual framework. So under the regulatory framework now, we look at the definition of a regulatory framework. When we talk about the regulatory framework, we are talking about the rules, the principle, the concepts, the assumption. Every of those things are guide the way we prepare and present a financial statement. Now, there is this saying that where there are no rules, there are no sin. So as an accountant or one that prepare financial report, there are rules and guidelines that guide the way you are to prepare a financial report. And then the essence is this: whatever report we are given, at the end of the day, will be used by the set of people that we call the users of financial statement. So all of your preparation and presentation of the financial report is for the end users, who are also known as the users of the financial statement. So what we're saying is this: rules guides how you operate. The principle, the concept, the assumptions that guide how you are to prepare and present financial statement is known as any regulatory framework as a whole. The framework as a whole is as simple as that. I don't think anybody will, at this level, nobody should be asking you what is a regulatory framework. So let's quickly move. What are the sources of regulations, as it were, that guides an accountant or preparer of a financial statement? I broke this down into 3 layers. The sources now, I broke it down into 3 layers. I call the first one the legal, and then the institutional framework, and institutional framework. And so when we talk about the legal and institutional framework, we are talking about the laws of the land that are applicable in the preparation and presentation of a financial statement. A very good examples are CAMA. We have CAMA, CBN guidelines, CBN guides. We have BOFIA, We have Peter, we have Sita, we have Sec Act, yes. We have which other one now? All of the etc. Let's just put etc because of for your knowledge sake. All of these are institutional framework. They are rules. They are guidelines that, of course, an accountant or a preparer financial need to be grounded in the preparation of financial statement. For instance, the Common Law Matter Act specify details of what is required when you are preparing your financial statement. It is expected that when you are preparing your financial statement, for instance, you must the directors of the companies, for instance, are expected to be the one to prepare the financial statement, and then they are expected to also keep what we call financial records. That's the law now. You understand me now? The Common Law Matter Act is a law for companies. They expect that you must keep financial records. Not only keep financial records, you must keep this financial record in your registered head office. And then the director is going to provide an annual report, an annual financial report. Those are laws. And I say that accountants or whoever is preparing the financial report, managers as it were, they must abide by the law. Then we have the CBN guidelines. Every now and then you see CBN giving us, this is the interest rate threshold, this is the exchange rate threshold, and like all those guidelines. They are also part of what a preparer of the financial system must subscribe to. What of BOFIA? BOFIA Bank and Other Financial Institution Act. For instance, you can't see in any standard, as far as I'm concerned, I've not seen any standard where they specify how bank should prepare their financial statement. I mean, in terms of how it's been scheduled out. However, under this BOFIA Act now, they give us a synopsis of how this financial statement is to be prepared. They tell us what constitutes the asset of the bank. They tell us what constitutes the liabilities of the banks. Do you understand me? So these are laws. You understand? For instance, this Peter also, and that's his Personal Income Tax Act. They also spell out how pension is to be calculated and deducted, and then how it should be remitted. Then CITA, Company Income Tax Act, is also there. And then SEC Act, Stock Exchange Act. For instance, another Stock Exchange Act now, they specify if you want to be listed on Nigerian Stock Exchange, certain guidelines and rules that you must follow. And so therefore, this is the fresh sources of rule, as far as I'm concerned, that guides the operations of the accountant. Why did I bring this one first? Number one, most of these legal institutional framework, they are backed up by act of the parliament. That is, they are instituted. They are crafted by the Act of Parliament. That is, in Nigeria, for instance, we have the National Assembly. They are the one that give back into this. And it's expected that if the National Assembly give back into it, it is binding on all the citizens of Nigeria. That is the first rule that is applicable to an accountant where you must subscribe to. The number two is the accounting standards. The accounting standards. These accounting standards, they are set of authorized, generally acceptable accounting principles that an accountant must subscribe to. They are known as IASs, now known as IFRS. IAS means International Accounting Standards. The IFRS means International Financial Reporting Standards. So, these standards, it is expected that the accountant must subscribe themselves fully to it. It is what must guide the way you identify an asset, how you identify a liability, how you identify if I'm saying identify, I mean recognize now. How you recognize asset, liability, expense, income, and equity. You understand me now? They also tell us how you should disclose. They tell us what you should disclose and the like. So those are their sources of regulation. They also guide the way you have to prepare and present financial statement. And then the third one is the ethical and the professional framework. This ethical and professional framework, for instance, as an accountant, the one that is issued is by ICANN. ICANN as a body, they issue ethical and professional guidelines. That is, they tell us as an accountant, professionally, you are guided by, what we call the moral standard that you are to uphold in the preparation and presentation of a financial statement. For instance, according to the ICANN standards, ICANN ethical standard, it is clear that the following 5 things must be part of you as an accountant. Number one is that integrity. Integrity is what you must uphold when you are preparing or presenting financial statement. And what this simply implies is you should not allow any undue influence. Do it with all honesty. Whatever it is you are doing, whatever it is you are to put down, the figures and the lies and the details you are to put down in the financial statement, put it down with utmost honesty. Don't be unduly influenced. Number two, we have what we call the confidentiality. Information are to be kept secret. Zip your lip. You don't just divulge information of your client to any other person under any circumstances or for any reasons as it were. Then we have what we call the professional due care. The professional due care. Professional due care. Professional due care. This one means that you must be knowledgeable. Be knowledgeable. Have knowledge of whatever it is that you are doing. Then the last one is professional behavior. Professional behavior. That is, as an accountant or one that is preparing the financial statement, the ball is in your court for you to behave, professionally. Don't allow anything to make you feel as if you don't know what you are doing. Be guided by this and enjoy the best of time when you are preparing your financial reports. Ensure that all kinds of things that will make the financial statement not to be useful for adequate and quality information are word off. That is what the ethical and the professional framework is actually telling us. There are about 5 of them. The other one I've skipped me, but there are things we should know at this level. You can as well look up before we finish this life. I remember I will tell you of them. So that is that for that. So understand that they can ask you in your exam what are the sources of regulation. List the 2 sources of regulation. You can just mention it. Legal institutional framework. Example: Common Law Matter Act, CBN guidelines, GOFIA, PETA, the accounting standards, and then ethical, professional, and framework. And in our next video, we'll look at the importance of this regulatory framework, and then we know what else to do about if they ask us any questions.